All right, you have to forgive me. I was making heads all day, and I was just thinking like as I was pulling one out a second ago. I had one more left, and I was like, there's a lot of little stuff in there to keep from ripping the mold, and because like once you rip it, then yeah, that particular head is fine, but then you just end up with um, you know teeth detail being gone. This is a lesser Scott, but I mean this is probably the 40th or 50th pull. And I mean, it's nice looking, but with that said, so I have one here. I'm gonna try to shoot it with my holding my freaking legs. But I have a wood duck. I just made this mold because I wanted one that the other one I have is just I don't know. It's just kind of it's lost some of the detail and it's not as fat. I just like how this one's kind of chunky. So whenever I paint it, so I made another mold, and I have a bunch of them here from before, but this is the process. So I put a pin in there after I baby powdered it or mold release, whatever you're going to use. Oh, let me get this. And then let's see, pin it, and then hot glue, and I'll show that taken off, and then I'll show the removal because it kind of sticks. It's a new mold. It's dry, but I've been using I ran out of baby powder, so I had to reuse some, and I don't think it's sticking quite as well. So it kind of sticks a little bit to the head, so I'm having to be a little bit more careful. But then I thought, this would be a good example to show because a lot of the molds you make, especially with little detail stuff, you can mess your mold up real quick and, take, a mold because now, she's man, like I went to buy silicone. It's up to $10. It was just like $5, a month ago. Well, now it's $10 a tube. So you make, you probably get 3 molds out of it. So, I mean, it's still not bad, right? But it's not as good. So let me try to, oh, this is going to be great. All right, so pull the pin, put that up, and then take off the hot glue, like so. As you can see over there, plenty. So then I always start at just kind of peeling away from the center cut. So what typically happens is you'll get rips. You want to make sure you kind of peel this part. You kind of just work around the back because that's where you'll get ripped. So here's the whole reason I'm doing this damn thing. So as you get to the teeth or the indentation, this one's not as sticking as bad as it was, but so I'm kind of just wanting to pull. Now keep in mind too, if you pull too much this way, you're going to rip down the cut. If you pull too much, then you pull the teeth detail line right there out, and then you're going to start getting jags that you're going to have to Dremel out, which is more time, which is more, less efficiency. So you can kind of see it sticking a little bit there. So I'm just kind of pulling up, and you can see that piece pop out. Same thing over here. I just want to gently work down the seam until it starts to come loose. There we go, that popped. Mindful, because you can already see it's a little bit of rip right there. No big deal, but I mean, so you got to be conscious of it. So then I just pop it out, and then I'm trying to reach and hold it with my legs like a freaking circus act. And then I kind of I just go up. Wood ducks have the extra kind of skin around the bill. Generally what I do here from this point, you have the head, I'll grab it, I'll put my thumb in here and kind of spread it out a little bit. And I'm not only pulling out, but I'm kind of pulling this angle 45 as I twist. That away. So I'm doing like this. All right. So, as I dropped it there, and that's mainly just so you have, let's see the focus. Yeah. And that's just how the way it'll come out the end, and you don't get a bunch of because once you start getting it pieces pulled out here, you start losing that. That's just really hard to kind of Dremel out. So here you have a little bump. There's an air bubble. No big deal. You just cut it off with X-Acto. And then prep them like this one. So just drilled out that. 5/8 paddle bit here, 1/2 inch paddle bit on each side. And then from here, I will Dremel out, either make it bigger for flying, or I'll take out the throat for standing. So the neck fits in there. And then obviously I have to Dremel the slot for the wire to go in. And then the rest of it's just kind of clay work. Whenever I'm putting the eyes in, just have some clay along the ridge, just to kind of make it so it's not indented right there. There we go. So it's more just like flush, so the crest sticks up nice. And then that's about it. So anyway, I just thought I'd share, it's just, I don't know, it's just something that, like, I have a mold here. The scop I was showing you a second ago, this is with that RTV rubber. But I mean, this is pretty old. I mean, this probably has 40 or 50 heads, and I showed you a second ago, it's like a quality mold. Some other old molds, the reason I made, do I have any old ones? I have a new Greater Scop. This is an old one. Actually, here, while I'm already taking all the effort, where's the other? Oh, okay. So this is the new one. Focus, please. But you can see, plenty of detail on the throat. Just, it'll stay like that. I mean, like I said, you'll get some loss. It's just the way it is. As long as the nasal post, you can just have the indentation. I Dremel it out a little bit anyway, as far as like depth, not size. So that doesn't matter as long as you can see where it's at. But this is one from, I mean, I've probably had this mold since I originally started. So it's probably 20 years old. And you can see the difference. So all this is going to have to be taken out with a Dremel. So with a small bit, I'll go through, remake the fleshy membrane in between the mandible. You can see this side here. You can see, it still has enough where I can go in and Dremel it out, which is the main thing. But you can just see where there's just parts I have to take out now, and that's just from loss. Something stuck when I was pulling it out, a little piece, ripped off or whatever, and then from that point on, now you have a mass that you have to remove. That piece of rubber that you lost is now going to be an issue going forward. So not a huge deal, but boy, it sure makes it nice when you can just get, for the next probably 30 pulls, and I don't have to mess with anything except for, Dremeling around it and, the normal. This was 3/4 inch. A lot of divers, I'll use 3/4 inch paddle bit. Same on this one. 1/2 inch for eyes on everything. Maybe a goose or something, I'd go like 9/16. But that's about the depth, just to give me a little room to work with. There's really nothing to it, or no reasoning other than just give me some room to, if I need to move an eye up or down or whatever, based on how it's sitting once the skin's pulled over, and then depth wise, so I can push it in or out or keep it out, whatever I need to. So anyway, just figured I'd share. Thought it'd be something helpful to, if you can get your mold to last. Oh, and yeah, and then I've always put, this has been a freaking lifesaver, man. Just a little piece of paper, wood drake. I mean, yeah, I can tell from just the inside, but man, when you start getting into like redhead, drake hen, ringneck, drake hen, scops, just all that close stuff. And if it's not marked, it just, it's just a hassle. So all these new ones, where's the other one at? The grater. Oh, the grater I showed you. But it's just like, man, it's so nice. Just pick it out. And, this, like I said, this one, because you could look at it and be like, well, it kind of looks like a redhead, or might be. Obviously, I know what a lot of the newer stuff is with the silicone, the cheaper molds. But labeling is the way to go. So, hope it helps.